Hey there, Bible buddies. I've got another Bible review for you today. Now, if you guys will bear with me, I'm going to have several videos that are going to be kind of similarly sized Bibles, and that's only because I'm trying to get through a certain section on my bookshelf to be able to kind of like flow in other Bibles onto the bookshelf and start kind of paring down my Bible collection. So, like I said, I'll have several kind of like smaller Bibles for now, and then after I come out with a few smaller sized Bible videos, I'll have some kind of medium and then some larger ones. And then it's going to be like a free for all because those are just the Bibles that I have organized on my bookshelf. But I have plenty of other Bibles that are lingering around, and those are just like all over the place. I have all sorts of kind of craziness going on there, so there'll be a little more variety then. But if you could just bear with me in the meantime, it would be much appreciated. So for today, what I have is something pretty interesting. It's something I almost never see come up. To be fair, I think this is the only one I've ever seen come up. And essentially, what this is, it is a New Testament RSV done by Thomas Nelson, and it's just a very, very, very nice edition, both in quality, construction, preservation wise. It's just a very nice edition, example of this edition. So. Let's get into it. As far as the cover goes, it's a beautiful genuine leather. You can see this wonderful grain, nice fine grain there. It does have Larry Elliott embossed on the cover there. Thank you, Larry Elliott, wherever you are, for your contribution to the channel. You can see a little perimeter line around the edge there, going all the way around a beautiful grain. The front is clean. I do appreciate that. I don't mind if it says Holy Bible. I don't know. I don't really care either way, but it's nice when it's clean. But if it has Holy Bible, cool too, On the spine, we have New Testament and Psalms. And then we have Revised Standard Version, and then Nelson. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of burnished ribs there. And these are pretty tactile. You can feel them. They're not really popping up or anything like that, but they're pretty, they're very well done. So they're nicely done. They're just nice ribs. The perimeter line continues, and then over to the back as well. We have that same beautiful grain. Very, very nice grain on this genuine leather. Sometimes genuine leathers, I don't know if it's like the process that they use to make the certain cover materials, but sometimes the covers are just right? And then sometimes the genuine leathers look phenomenal. They look really nice like this. So I'm always stoked when they have nice leather covers like this. As far as other details from the exterior, we have white head and tail bands that have obviously yellowed kind of with time. We have a black ribbon. We'll look at that in a second. We have this nice, wonderful gold gilt there. Very well done. Nice and shiny on the bottom as well. Now the ribbon is a single-sided satin ribbon. And it's just black. There's one of them, and it's appropriately sized. I wish it was a little bit longer, but judging by the end of this, I trimmed it. So I would imagine it's probably fraying when I cut it. So maybe it was long enough to pull to the corner, but certainly now it's going to be like just barely long enough to pull to the corner, sadly. I prefer much longer ribbons. Like when I replace ribbons on my own Bibles, I leave like a foot of extra ribbon because I feel like you can always trim it shorter if you want, but I can't add anything onto this. I guess I could knot it and put like a ribbon extension on it. So I'd rather have more than less. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, as far as the construction on the inside goes, we do have the Saffiano look paper paste down, and it does appear to have some reinforcing tape there. I'll show you the meager corners there, super teeny tiny. I really love this Saffiano paper. I think it's beautiful. I don't know if this is like something that's still available, but it's just gorgeous. I love the way it feels, the nice texture. Silk moire is my favorite. Like actual legitimate silk moire papers, to me that's tops, but this is probably a close second. So let's get into it. I have the end sheet there. We have a blank sheet. I have the title page. Now, right off the bat, this paper is very nice. It's somewhat smooth. Obviously it's not as smooth as like a New Cambridge or something like that, but it's definitely smoother than what I've been seeing recently. And it is very thick. Not quite like the Thomas Nelson 196 that I did a while back. It's not as thick as that, but this definitely feels like, goodness, maybe mid-40s GSM. It's a nice thick paper. So we'll take a look kind of at the show through later on with that. Here's the title page for it. On the back side, we have the copyright information, and this is appears to be a 1946 maybe edition of the RSV, or at least that's when it was dated for the New Testament. And we have our preface. And here I just did a review of an American Standard Version, and here, like the first sentence, the Revised Standard Version of the New Testament is an authorized revision of the American Standard Version published in 1901, which was a revision of the King James Version published in 1611. So a little bit of biblical history there. And then these prefaces, definitely read them. It gives you some background on the translation. It's always nice to kind of see where the translators are coming from and that sort of thing. So it's a definite help. point you in the right direction. And you have your table of contents there. And it gets right into it. The Gospel according to Matthew. You can see this beautiful text. Goodness. It is a single column paragraph. It's just gorgeous. Look at this. You have your translator's notes, footnotes down there, and your cross-references also. A few of them. Kind of light, but it's okay. You don't need to have the full suite, right? This is a New Testament. Turn the page here so we can get a better view of it. But we have our books and chapter numbers in the top corners. Kind of standard. We have our page numbers in the bottom center. In the top gutters, we have a short little kind of running headers there. And we have a nice double line drop cap here. And the thing I noticed, right, this double line drop cap looks huge. And the reason it looks so big is because there is a ton of leading. Leading is the spacing kind of between the lines here. So you can see that this is a nice airy text. It's not all squished together, right? It gives you kind of a nice, just a nice easy read. It makes for a much more enjoyable reading experience because you don't feel like everything's crowded. And it's also easier for your eye to track through the line to where you don't get lost when you have an extra space there. And it's easier to kind of jump down to the next line and kind of keep on point. Sometimes when the text is really squished for me, I tend to end up reading the same line like 3 or 4 times. So I can certainly appreciate when there's a nice amount of leading here in the text. Now I think that there is some overcast. No, there's not. No overcast stitching on this one. We'll flip into it a little bit here. You can see some of the kind of the different formatting here for the different sections. A very beautiful text. I love it when Bibles are just like well thought out, and to me this is a very well thought out layout. You have a nice border here on the edge, and it kind of frames the pages nicely. You have a nice wide gutter here, so none of the text is really falling into the gutter. I mean, it's curved just a little bit, but definitely not as bad as what we've seen recently. And it's, a nice, beautiful, big font, easily read, a serif font at that. Just beautiful. Very well done. We're in Revelation already, goodness. So let me show you the paper, some of the show through there. It's very minimal. You can see a little bit of ghosting. Maybe like at the top there, a very little bit, but it's not bad by any means, by any standard. Now this paper, I don't believe is India paper because it has oxidized just a little bit. It's not super dark yellow. I wish I had something, see a little bit here, but maybe you can see on the camera, how much it's yellowed. Just a little bit, nothing too crazy. Let's get to the end of the Bible, at least to the end of the New Testament. There we go. We do have a code stamped here. So it says V558. So I'm assuming maybe this was printed, the book block was printed in 1958. I don't know. That kind of is what I would imagine that would mean. But if you know, please correct me by all means. I'm always open to correction. So if you guys do happen to know, I love it when people comment down below with extra information. And if you go back and watch some of my other videos, you'll find some really nice little kind of golden nuggets of information where somebody's chimed in with some actual, knowledge of this, either of the company or the edition that's produced or something like that. And I always appreciate that. Super kudos to those people. Then we have our Psalms title page and the secondary title page. I'll show you that. Psalms Revised Standard Version. There you go. You have the copyright information for the Psalms. Then we have our beautiful layout. Look at this, goodness. All right, y'all. This is what I'm talking about. Let's turn a few pages before I speak, right? Yeah, look at this. Okay, so this is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful poetic layout, right? Almost nobody does this nowadays, and it is a shame. Notice here how there's no single word lines. I mean, there's one here. Okay. There's one, but one out of like a full page, not bad at all. You can see here how they make like a concentrated effort to kind of even out the lines and kind of break it where it makes sense. You have your comma here and then the line breaks. I much prefer when they take their time and they make the poetry look like this. It's much easier to read. It's much easier to find kind of like your flow while reading the poetry and also to kind of help you understand the poetry. It always drives me nuts when you just have the line that runs all the way to the end of the page and then you end up with like one word like that. I might have broken this line like there are many who say, and then just brought this down, what they say, down to the next line. I might have done that. But I'm not going to knock them because they did such an excellent job everywhere else. It just drives me nuts when there's like one word like that floating. I mean, just kind of organize the text a little bit. And again, they did a great job, but in other editions, forget it. It's just like every other line is like that, and it just drives me crazy. So let's flip through this. I'll show you guys Psalms 119. I know some people like seeing that one. If I can find it, goodness, there's so many pages. It's so well formatted. It's beautiful. There There we go. All right, so it does appear that they omitted the little kind of the letter indicators. A lot of times they'll indicate kind of the Hebrew letters throughout the text, and it doesn't look like they did that here for Psalm 119. I know sometimes people prefer that or not. I would prefer that they left everything that was in the Bible originally, right in the original Hebrew, to be transferred over into English. But can't always get what we want, right? So let's get to the end of the Bible here. I think it looks like it just wraps up, and that's kind of it. Yep, so there we have Psalm 150, and there's another little code there, VR 459, and that's kind of all we get. We have a blank sheet there, another blank sheet, a third blank sheet, so three kind of thinner sheets of Bible paper. I say it's not really thinner, it's just Bible paper, the same that was used throughout. And then we have a little dedication here in the back, and there is a little stamp back there, DFJ 853P, it looks like. I'm assuming that's the model number. So that just wraps up. That's the end sheet. So very nice edition, very nice, very nicely just laid out and everything formatted. I will say, to Nelson's credit, they did a phenomenal job with these New Testament editions. I mean, the 196 is beautiful. This is beautiful. I have a few others that I'll be showing you here just because, like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to be kind of, going through all the smaller sizes of Bibles that I have. So I'll have a couple New Testaments for you. But yeah, certainly a beautiful edition. Let's go ahead and get you guys some measurements. So this one comes in at 7.5 inches tall by about 5 1/8 inches wide and right at 1 inch thick. So pretty good size. I mean, very nice size, very trim. Not super tiny, but good enough, especially given the, get out of here, especially given the, the nature of the layout. Beautiful. All right, let's take a look at the size of the text. This is a very nice size. Goodness. Wow. Moving on up. So the capitals, in comparison to Times New Roman, come in at a 12.5 point font. Let's look at the lowercase. We'll find an M. Lowercase a little smaller. Appears to be like about an 11 point. So we'll go with 11 point only because, like I always say, I go with the lowercase size because there's more lowercase letters than uppercase letters. But an 11 point font for this edition versus Times New Roman, which is an excellent size. Certainly nice and readable. You can't get much better than this kind of a layout. It's just beautiful for a reader. Obviously, if you're looking for a reference Bible, you want something different, or if you want some more space for notes, you want something different. But for a nice portable reader of the New Testament, this is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful edition. Guys, I don't know what to say about as far as finding one. Like I said, I've only seen this one. Now, mind you, I tend to look like my eBay searches, the way that I search now. It's a little more generic, so I don't see like everything that comes in, right? Because I pare it down to make sure that I'm not seeing too much and wasting hours and hours going through eBay. And for a while there, what I was doing is I was looking for very specific translations. And I think this one, if I remember correctly, I did like a specific new standard version search, just to see what kind of like versions were out there. So I don't know. Maybe this edition has popped up a few more times, kind of over the years or over the weeks or months, what have you. But at least as far as I know from what I've seen, I haven't seen very many of these. Yeah, Bible Buddies. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please certainly feel free to leave them down below. Yeah, if you could like, subscribe to the video. What's the other thing? Like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, all that YouTube stuff. You guys know what to do. Feed my YouTube algorithm so I can get further up the exposure chain. I don't know. Do what you want. I don't really care. But just watch my videos if you enjoy them. If not, it's cool. You can watch something else. Bible Buddies. Until next time. Bye.